Okay, so this is going to be a guide on the Void Rift second phase boss. I think the boss is also the last boss of Chapter 9 in the campaign, but I'm not 100% sure because I am not there. But I'm going to be doing this on hard because I couldn't do Nightmare. I got to the final boss of Nightmare after like a couple hours of trying because my gear is not good and I don't have some hero options that are quite good, but with some strategy I got to the final boss of the first area and it was not possible. So I'm doing hard. Uh, because I'm doing hard, if you're on elite or normal, you'll have more options on heroes because you can have 10 instead of 8 in the harder difficulties. And if you're doing Nightmare, just slightly better gear, same strategy, it will work. I'm just going to I'm going to show off my strategy that I'm using, and at the end I'll explain some also alternative strategies. But this is the one I use because it's just the most simple for me. I will be using Silas. My Silas is geared pretty well. If you do have a full like Infernal Roar set, you won't need this amount of good stats. You can use Nocturne, you can use Hex, there are epic options too, but I always say use what you have. And while I might be a content creator, and it should be wise for me to use some more accessible options, I do not have those. I am not a whale. I cannot. Um, I do not have good gear. I use what I have. Anyways, so if you had a better set, you would be able to do this. Even if you have less stats and a full set, you could do this with Silas. Or you can use Nocturne, you can use other options. When I beat this on hard a couple weeks ago, I didn't use Laurel or Dolores. I used the healer and like 3 to 4 DBS, and it barely worked. It was very stressful, but I find this easier. Vierna, Olog, and Vortex are just to stall the top and kill them. Vierna barely does enough. If I alter at a certain time, she can kill the healer guys, and that's pretty useful. There are other options you can use. She's just a placeholder, more or less. Olog, you do want something tanky, or you can even use Gluttony to one-shot the mobs, since he got reworked, but I'm not sure how he works, because I don't use him. Hex is only there for a slight bit of damage because my Silas gear is not perfect, so it's not quite enough. Dolores, you just want tons of attack to boost Silas and your other damage dealers if you use them. And Wrath is just there to stall the boss. His gear is pretty average. Vortex is built pretty well, but you don't need to build that well. Anyways, let's get into this. This is quite a hard boss. I would say this is harder than Torador if you've seen my last video. Torador is a breeze to go through if you know how to do it. But this boss, I know a lot of people struggle with this boss, and I do not blame them. Anyways, Vierna to kill the top, I alter so that she kills the little enemies. And then Vortex to heal. I do place Vortex sideways because I will be placing Hex here, and Hex needs a bit of HP. If you place your things here, and you have a melee here, the boss will not be able to hit at these two at the back, but Hex will still get hit. That's why I place Vortex facing sideways. Anyways, you want to place Wrath pretty soon after the boss comes out, so he doesn't accidentally kill all of your heroes over here. And as you see, Vierna's dealing with the top, and I placed Laurel because I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that she buffs ultimates. I'm not completely sure, but anyways, Hex ult, and then I ult the other two when the boss gets close. And as you can see, the health bar goes down very fast. Nocturne does work if you haven't built well. Other things work. You can put more damage up here and more damage down here. Whatever works. But this is what works for me. I'm going to be Vierna ult again because the more minions came down. As you can see, the top is completely fine, and we're just bursting the boss down. And soon it should die. What you don't want is the boss to get his ult up, because then it gets really bad really fast. It'll kill most of your attackers. It'll kill Olog at the top, even if he's built really well. And then you have to kind of deal with the fallout of that. But the first time I beat this on hard, when I used a bunch of DPS, no Laurel, no Dolores or anything, my things did die, but I was able to salvage it because I did enough damage to the boss early on in order to deal with him later on. So basically, the idea is you don't need to be defensive if the boss dies. um, but of course, do whatever works for you. It differs per person. But anyways, after the boss dies, you want to take everything back because they're not going to be useful down here anymore. Uh, and then at the top, I would say once this guy dies, you can pull everything as well. Boom, 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 because you will need them later on, because now the enemies afterwards will spawn from here. There's only like 2 or 3 big guys that come out, but they hit like a truck, so you want some sort of support down. As you can see, if you kill the boss very fast, or even if he's still walking along here, you can kill him around this area. And you should have the rest of your units up pretty fast. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. I didn't really think this through, I'll be completely honest, but they're never gonna come down here. This is where the boss goes. If the boss is dead, you don't have to deal with it. I'm gonna place Silas over here because he's strong against these healer guys. And you can't really deal with the healer guys if they're healing the big guys, because it's a lot of healing. It's very hard to DPS them down. I don't need Laurel much anymore. This is more just stalling them out and killing them. Anyways, as you can see, it's a lot of damage. I'm gonna place Wrath just to instantly die. Never mind. But yeah, just kind of wait and do the rest. And that's the stage done, honestly. At this point, it's just completely done. You don't have to do any more. As long as your healer and your tank are down and they're able to not die to a single enemy, and your DPS is enough to kill the other ones that come down, like the other big guys that come down, you're good. You're smooth sailing. Since it's impossible to lose. Anyways, boom. And that's a win. And that's kind of it. Of course, there are other strategies which I will go through, but just use what you have. If you want to DPS the boss down, which I find the easiest, just stack it, kill it fast, and stall it at the top. That's all you need. Some other strategies that you can use, I'm just going to be showing the map here, is you can put a Gluttony actually at the top, and what Gluttony can do now that he got reworked is he could just one-shot these really tanky mobs. So if his ult is up, he just one-shots them. And then you can just kind of place a different damage dealer to kill the healer guys, and you can basically just clear the top, and then you just put whatever at the bottom to kill the boss. And another strategy I saw, which is so bad, but like in a good way, is they just have Volca A1 and Cuke, and that's enough. So what they do is they have some sort of strategy to kill the top guys, and you can just have Cuke placed at the bottom, and then when he either dies or the boss goes past, you just take him back and you point him a different way. And as long as you're able to kill the top, Cuke getting repositioned is more than enough to deal enough damage somewhere near the end. I don't want to do it because I don't have Cuke and I don't like using him. I have better options, but if you are struggling, you could do that. And like, you can use any unit as long as they're geared properly. And unfortunately, Void Rift is very difficult. It's meant to be endgame, so without legendary options, unless your gear is amazing, you're gonna struggle. But definitely don't feel bad if you can't beat it, because you will eventually. Better gear, better strategy. If you tweak it a little bit, you don't have to use any of these strategies. You can figure something else and take ideas from this video. But as long as you're trying and you get close, that's what matters. Because the closer you are, the easier it is to tweak it to win, basically, if that makes any sense. But anyways, Hopefully this helped, and have a good day, guys. Bye bye.